Hi, my name is Bob Toland. This presentation is for MCAA 530 Ethics and Sports. My presentation today will be on resilience. Just a quick introduction. We're going to go over the definition of resilience. I'll provide a few examples from athletes in their path to being resilient. I will give some applications for coaches and for athletic administrators. We'll discuss a couple Bible passages and then end it with some concluding remarks. So what is resilience? Resilience, by the Merriam-Webster definition, is the ability for one to recover from or adjust easily to misfortune or change. In my own words, what I think of when I hear resilience is staying the course. It's overcoming those obstacles that will present themselves. It's this unwavering determination to see that goals are achieved. And I really think that that vision towards the goal that you set out to achieve is the important part. I like that picture of the trail just because, hiking in the mountains, you want to get to the top of the mountain, but along the way, twists and turns, a lot of things that you don't see coming. Resilience means that you're able to stay that course to get to the top of that mountain. So resilience in sports, I wanted to pick a few athletes that faced some pretty significant adversity, but found a way to achieve the goals that they set out to obtain. The first one I wanted to talk about was Tiger Woods, professional golfer. You probably know who he is. He started his professional career in 1996. Since then, he's amassed 82 PGA Tour victories, 15 of those being major wins. His last victory was at the 2019 Masters at Augusta National. At that time, Tiger Woods had not won a golf match since 2013, his last major coming in 2011. What was really cool about that was he sustained some pretty serious knee and back injuries. He had a lot of stuff going on in his personal life, as you know, I'm sure, but he still found a way to win it. His kids were there, which was really neat. Tiger Woods is a big story in golf for overcoming and staying resilient. In the NFL, Alex Smith was a 2002 first-round draft pick to the 49ers. He finished his career and retired last season as a Washington Redskin. In 2018, he suffered a very bad lower leg break, compound fracture. What was really cool about his story was that he actually started an NFL game last year, 2 years after his devastating injury. The picture on the right that you see there is something that his wife made for him. He had a halo device around his right leg, the one he broke, holding all of his pins and needles in place. That is actually kind of a replica of the Lombardi Trophy, all made out of that halo device that was holding his right leg together. Alex Smith, during his recovery, sustained a really bad infection, and they were worried his right leg would be amputated. And for him to be able to not only walk and function as just a person, let alone starting in the NFL, really does show his resiliency to get back as a starting NFL quarterback. Somebody I ran across while I was researching this, I thought of a marathon when I thought of resilient or someone being resilient. I think that really is that 26.2 miles probably summarizes or best exemplifies resiliency, just to stay the course and to see that finish line eventually. Earl Granville is a 2017 Boston Marathon finisher. He was injured badly in Afghanistan in 2008. An IED took his left leg. What was really cool when I was researching this, he was a finisher, but the last 50 or 100 feet or so, he actually picked up his guide and carried her across the finish line to do it. I read a couple little articles, and he was very driven by the crowd. They were cheering him on like crazy, but I thought that was a really good example of resiliency for a marathon runner. Bethany Hamilton, is a pretty famous story from the early 2000s. She used a surfer at age 13 that was attacked by a shark and lost her left arm. You can see her there with her surfboard with a big old chomp out of it. She inspired the movie Soul Surfer, and today is a proud mother, wife. She's a businesswoman. She goes around the country doing inspirational speeches and really does motivate people to find the best in themselves. I just thought this was a good example of it, kind of an extreme sport, a person that's been resilient. She didn't let this injury slow her down, and she's changing the lives of others as we speak. The last sports moment I can remember, this one gives me the chills when I see it still. Not that I'm necessarily an Auburn fan, but in 2013, the Iron Bowl is a yearly game played between Auburn and Alabama. With a couple seconds left on the clock, tied at 28, Alabama was lined up with a 56-yard field goal that they kicked, probably just to run out the clock. If they missed it, they probably didn't think much of it. But Chris Davis was standing in the end zone and caught the missed field goal and returned it 109 yards. I do have a link if you wanted to watch the video, but just in the interest of keeping my presentation short, I'm not going to play it now. Just probably the wild finish of an NFL or a college football game that I've ever seen. Chris Davis caught this missed field goal and took it back 109 yards all the way to score. Time expired. Auburn won the game. It really does give me chills if I watch it today. So switching gears a little bit, I wanted to quote Bruce Brown out of his book, Teaching Character Through Sport. I thought that this summarized what being resilient is all about. Develop the capacity to never quit. Be determined toward every goal. Continue to visualize the finished product. Do not let your team lose sight of their potential greatness. This was off of page 20 in his book. I think what means the most to be resilient is continue that visualization of that finished product. I think that's really what makes someone be resilient. If you remember why you started something in the first place, that gives you that drive and that determination to see it through. Coaching resilience is something that is maybe not on that official job description. Some coaches might assume that athletes come to them with these skills already instilled in them, but I think that great coaches know that they need to take the time to actually teach these things, and I think the best way to do that is through example. I think that good coaches like Gene Ariema there of the UConn women's basketball team, his players obviously have a tremendous amount of respect for him, and their success speaks for themselves. But I think that good coaches expect athletes have it. Great coaches really do teach that confidence building, believing in oneself. I think the idea of teamwork is taken for granted. But good coaches, great coaches, they have that role model attitude. They have that, they model and mimic the behaviors that they want their athletes to, show between the lines, if you will. I think that, the picture of Gene there in that huddle where his players are getting behind him, I think the situation may have been calling for a good, out of bounds player, whatever it may be, but that resilience to overcome. Great coaches know that that's stuff that needs to be actually taught and practiced. From the athletic administrative standpoint, I think that resiliency starts with a vision for the program. Vision for high school sports, college sports, professional sports. I think that really does start the conversation about what it means to be resilient. That vision is going to have a coaching philosophy or a leadership style that I guess is expected of staff. Their day in and day out should be driven by a goal-oriented mindset where you have an actual finish line that you're attempting to get to. I think that resiliency does fall short if you don't have a goal that you're working towards. And I guess last but not least, I think that good athletic administrators will understand their influence not only on the coaches that they're assisting, but also, I guess, just programs in the community as a whole. The influence of sports on people's lives is bigger than maybe some realize, but I guess as a compass, athletic administrators have these 4 points that they can follow. A couple Bible passages that would revolve around being resilient. The first one comes from Philippians chapter 4, looks like verse 4, chapter 4, verse 13. I am able to do things through him who strengthens me. And then from Job chapter 17, verse 9, the righteous keep moving forward and those with clean hands become stronger and stronger. I think that one, those that are righteous and stay on the path do come out of things stronger. I think that's a good one that applies to a lot of sports, and athletes might follow that one. I like this quote from Robert Jordan. The oak fought the wind and was broken. The willow bent when it must and survived. I think that bending is true of people that are resilient. There are going to be times where adversity might seem too big to overcome. If you're willing to bend with it, I think that you'll come out the other side liking the result. In conclusion, I think that athletics, as we know, present many obstacles. good coaches expect their athletes to be resilient, but great coaches actually teach and model this. I think that coaches have a tremendous amount of influence on people, and they realize that. And I think that their actions certainly speak louder than words. Resilience to me is that tireless pursuit of achieving goals despite unforeseen adversity. Being resilient, I think, is something that really teaches a lot about oneself, and that really does create lifelong memories for people, where if they for a moment there thought they couldn't do it, but then found a way to actually achieve that goal. I think that pursuit and that pride really does mean a lot for people. All right, thank you for watching. I hope you liked it.